Today I'm going to talk about the real problem with spending $1 million in 24 hours, Mr. Beast and Graham Stephan's response. Let's get right to it. Okay, today in this video I'm going to talk about what was discussed in Graham Stephan's response to Mr. Beast's video about how to spend $1 million in 24 hours.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I've been following the series by Mr. Beast in which 16 people compete for the chance to win the grand prize of $1 million. The series did not end here because just the other day Mr. Beast posted the final video of this incredible saga, spending $1 million in 24 hours.
Alright, so you now have 24 hours to spend the $1 million. Are you ready?
I had to actually stop watching Mr. Beast's video because it just infuriated me. And as much as I love Graham Stephan, and he's an incredibly successful individual, and congratulations to him for all of his success, and sometimes he has some really great ideas, and sometimes his ideas need some refinement. This particular video about the $1 million and how it was spent and his ideas about the ways of investing and just the way it should be viewed and framed drove me right up the wall. So if anybody's been watching some of my previous videos, you'll know that once in a while I'll get kind of on a rant. And this is absolutely one of those. In fact, immediately after seeing this video, I insisted on creating this video as a response to Graham Stephan's response and also as a notice to Mr. Beast. You know what? More power to both of them as far as doing what they do. They're amazing at what they do. Keep doing it, but don't pretend for a second that you're helping anyone with the information you gave in those videos. The fact of the matter is, you may as well just give people knives and let them slit their throats or their wrists. It's sort of like a very good example that popped into my mind watching it was, what happens when you help a baby bird crack the egg? If you crack the egg for the baby bird, you kill the bird. It never develops the muscles or the skills to be able to fly and to be able to survive in the wild. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of what they're saying in those videos is exactly the same. Now, I'm going to get to more of that in just a minute, but I have to warn you, if you are not interested in hearing the truth about what's being taught right now, not just in their videos, but in the world in general, especially in the United States of all places, then you do not want to watch this video. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to share with you how money actually works and what actually is being pumped down people's throats as the truth, or as what is morally acceptable, or what is morally right, or what is a good person and what's a bad person. The fact of the matter is, you're being fed lies by a lot of people, by 99%, I would even venture to say. So just know, if you are not comfortable with hearing how things really work and what the truth really is about what's being taught to you or what's being propped up as truth, then don't listen to this video. Don't go any further. So another thing I should say as we're getting started with this video in particular, I really want to show appreciation for Graham Stephan explaining that maybe we don't know all the rules that were applied in terms of spending the $1 million in 24 hours. Maybe we don't know, maybe he was restricted to doing certain things. Maybe he was instructed to spend it certain ways and not invest a certain percentage or not do one thing or the other. We don't know what happened behind the scenes. So when I talk about Mr. Beast's video and when I talk about Graham Stephan's videos, I'm going to talk about only what was presented and what I saw. Not about, I'm not going to pretend to know if they coached anybody or if anything was changed after it was videotaped or edited. So all I'm doing is sharing my opinion on what I saw in each of those videos.
What Mr. Beast has done for Mark the winner and the opportunity this afforded to him now is absolutely incredible.
Graham, I love you, man. But that is the most ridiculous notion. To give this guy $1 million, you may as well give him a loaded gun. And you know what? The spending he goes through to spend that $1 million in a 24-hour period proves how dangerous he is with large amounts of money. And that's another thing. It has nothing to do with the amount. If he can't balance his own checkbook with the measly amount of money he makes per month working whatever job he works, then what makes you think for 1 second he's going to be able to handle large amounts of money? You know, that's a big red flag for any bank or for any lending institution in the world. If you can't manage your own personal finances, they will never give you a loan to start a business. They will never allow you to run a major company. They will never give you the responsibility of handling large sums because you can't handle a small sum. This is not the biggest, best opportunity this guy has ever had in his whole life because he's instructed and programmed by society and by culture to spend it as quickly as physically possible and not even to invest the larger percentage. Graham, you tried at the end, you tried to kind of, hey, you know, maybe it would have been a good idea. You were on the right path, but there were still some challenges with some of your suggestions. But this poor guy, throughout your entire video, Graham, you talk about how wonderful it is and warm-hearted it is that he's giving so much away and it's so selfless. Isn't he a wonderful guy for that? What a ridiculous notion. The fact of the matter is his best decision ever would have been to invest that full $1 million the right way so that it would actually generate revenue for him year over year, tax-free, away from the market and its volatility, away from the huge bubble which is coming, which is index funds. It's all over the news. And guess what? All the restrictions on real estate and all of the mortgage challenge from 2008, all those federal regulations are gone. So Graham, you're in danger too. Any real estate you own, guess what? When the market crashes, the banks will call your loans due immediately and you will be foreclosed on even though you've never missed a payment. So let me back up for a second, okay? The fact of the matter is, this is only a great opportunity if this guy has a good model to follow. He has a horrible model to follow. He has the general public looking at him and judging him and calling him selfish or greedy if he doesn't give money away, if he doesn't give to a charity, if he doesn't give to his family. Since when has the general public ever been the moral compass? So I'm just going to stop right there. The generosity of Mr. Beast extends as far as his checking account will allow it. The fact of the matter is that guy is giving money away to people to generate views. He may be doing it with the intention of, I'd like to try and help people too, but the fact of the matter is when you give like that without supporting instruction, without giving a good model, then you're actually performing a more horrible act. You're actually damaging people's lives. That's why the home renovation show went away. They were fixing up people's homes and moving their home into a new tax bracket to where that family couldn't even live in the same home that they just had fixed up for free. Wasn't it so nice of them to fix my home and renovate it? And then the tax man comes along and says, it's wonderful. Now we can raise your taxes. Isn't this great? And guess what? All of your bills are going to go up now. Your insurance goes up. Your taxes go up. This guy, Mr. Beast, probably has the best of intentions. He'd really like to try and help people, but talk about doing it the wrong way. And Graham singing the praises of this false premise, this bad model of it's better to give. Listen, you know what? He's giving and laughing all the way to the bank every month when he gets his check from YouTube. That's a fact. He is not selfless. He is serving himself. He's making himself out to be a martyr. Look at me. Look how wonderful I am. And that's the model he gives to this poor guy, Mark, who wins the $1 million. Well, you have to give it away, of course, because you want to be a good person, don't you, Mark? Don't you want to be good like me, the Mr. Beast, and give it away? You should give it away. Yeah, that's what you should do, because that's what makes a good person. That's what society says. That's what culture says. You have to be generous and just give it away. And Don't think about yourself. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, good luck with that. We'll follow Mark about 3 or 4 years from now and see where he's at. Oh, no one will care then, will they? Now, is it really cool that Mr. Beast has planted 20 million trees? Yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful that he planted so many trees, or helped plant so many trees. Or is it really wonderful that there are organizations all around the world doing far more that never get the attention or notoriety that Mr. Beast has got? Now, I don't want to diminish the fact that at least he's trying. He's helping in one way, or he's trying to at least make a difference, and God bless him. More power to him. But please, please give a better model. Teach these people. I mean, even Graham, at least you're trying to teach them. You're teaching them at least what you know. It's not always correct. It's not always the best thing. And of course, everybody's situation is different. So you have to be careful. You teach what you can and you give what information you can. You hope they take it. But don't sing the praises of the socialist, communist mentality where everybody should have everything for free and it should just be given away. And anybody who tries to make anything for themselves, well, they're evil and greedy. They shouldn't have those things. That's way too much. How dare they try to live beyond and spend so much money on this and that? Who do they think they are? Do they think they're special? Yes, they are. They are special because they decided they were worthy of it. They decided to go out and do the work and learn the skill and find a way to provide value that people would pay them for, and they earned it. And the best part about that is, even if you tax them 100% and you take away all of their wealth, guess what? All the people, all those poor people you give that wealth away to, in 4 or 5 years will be broke again. And you know who will be rich again? The rich people. Do you know why? Because they actually do something about it. They know how to do something about it. And they have the confidence in themselves to go do something about it. Now let's be real honest here, okay? What you're talking about when you give away like that, or you insist culturally that you must give away to be considered a good person, that is cultural servitude. It is cultural slavery. There is no other way to describe it. When you are a bad person because you decide to work hard and keep for yourself, that is slavery, because now I'm only a good person if I give away to the person who doesn't bother doing anything. There are a lot of people right now in this world who sit on their rears and don't do anything. They don't learn a new skill. They don't try to create any value. They don't try to improve themselves. They don't try to do anything. And then, worst of all, they make you feel guilty because you're trying to build something for yourself. Look at that guy. What does he think he is? Oh, starting a business. Oh, he's starting a YouTube channel. Oh, I bet he's going to, oh yeah, who does he think he is? So special. Look at him. What does he know? He's probably heartless. He's probably greedy. There is nothing more infuriating than anybody who would sit on the sideline, lazy, not doing anything, criticizing someone who's in the arena, getting dirty and bloody, trying to build something of value. It's so easy to destroy once something has been built. Remember something, a lot of these people did it before anybody else had ever done anything. You know, Jeffree Star, you know, Shane Dawson, they did those things before anybody else had done them. Their YouTube channels, and now their cosmetic line, and the incredible value that they gave with the videos that they created, documenting how to do it. I mean, that's a how to be successful videos right there. Right nowadays, the new Henry Ford, the new Thomas Edison, you know, Elon Musk, these guys building up. And what does society do? What does the 99% do to Zuckerberg, to Gates, to all of them? Oh, well, nobody needs that much money. That's just ridiculous. They guilt them and shame them into giving away. Not because it's a good thing to do or because they have so much and they can give away. I mean, you can't give from an empty cup. So because they have it, no, you've got to shame them into it. They're not good people unless they give away. No, that's completely backwards. It's a completely false premise. And the people who perpetrate it are the ones with their hands out the most often. The people who are doing the least are the ones who make the most noise about why aren't you being generous and giving to charity. The fact of the matter is, when you're wealthy and you're smart about money, you can do both. You can give to charity, and live lavishly, and have every nice thing in the world that you could ever dream of, and still give to charity, and still give to multiple charities if you want to. There is nobody on this planet that you owe anything to except yourself. That is a fact. And so the idea of being made to feel guilty by Mr. Beast or Mr. Beast's audience or by Graham Stephan because he's claiming that what a warm heart this guy Mark, giving his money away to his family and his friends, buying him a house for his family. Listen, you could even see it in the video. He is on top of the world. Look at me. Look at me. I'm so big. I'm buying things with this $1 million for all of the people that I love. Aren't I wonderful? That's as selfish an emotion as any other emotion, like keeping money. It's just as selfish to set yourself up, especially as a false provider. The fact of the matter is he gave so much money away and so quickly without creating enough investment to support that spending, to support that lifestyle, that he's going to crash and burn in just a few years. Imagine the incredible crash and depression this guy's going to feel in just a few years after having $1 million to spend in 24 hours and all these nice things, and then watching them slowly disintegrate and slowly go away. I mean, let's talk about this for a second, right? One of his purchases was a house. Well, isn't that an asset? He doesn't have a mortgage. Isn't that wonderful? No, he doesn't have a mortgage. But guess what? An expensive house has expensive taxes. Oh, and by the way, it costs money to heat and to cool and for water and for food. Oh, and when things break, that was one of the things that Graham said that he got right. Because when you own a home, things break. You have to mow the lawn. You have to keep the driveway clear. Oh, and by the way, he's got those cars, and so you got to keep them clean. You got to pay for insurance for the cars. Oh, and if a window breaks and you've got your family living there and they're banging around in the house, things are going to break. Light switches go down. Circuit breakers go out, the basement might flood, maybe the foundation will crack. You don't know whether this house is even really solid. Those are all things you find out after the fact as a homeowner. That's why you need money coming in to support the home. I mean, the fact of the matter is, very quickly that house is going to become run down if he doesn't have income to keep it nice. And guess what? If he wasn't good at keeping things nice before, you can be sure that these bigger things take more effort, more energy, and more money to keep nice, which means that they're going to deteriorate even faster. The computers are going to break down. The phones aren't going to have cell plans anymore. He's going to be owing money in taxes for the real estate. He's going to have to pay insurance and registration for the cars every year, and expensive cars are expensive for insurance. And the fact of the matter is very quickly, he's not going to have even the money to pay for food. And he's going to lose the house, he's going to lose the cars, he's going to lose all those nice little toys. And all that money he gave to his family and his moms, both his stepmom and his mom, the $15,000 each, gone. It's going to be gone. Now, am I heartless because I'm pointing out the truth? No, I'm telling you the truth to save you from making the same stupid mistake. The fact of the matter is, look up every lottery winner in the past. Almost always, 5 years from winning the lottery, they lose all of the money. It's all gone. And the only reason is because they were never taught how to actually generate money. They just thought that once you have money, it just self-perpetuates. Well, guess what? Inflation takes care of that. Taxes takes care of that. Rampant spending takes care of that. Depreciation in liabilities take care of that. See, that's another thing. Let's talk about that real quick. People think that a house is an asset, right? Whose asset? Whoever holds the note. Even Graham's properties. If he has rental properties, but he has mortgages on them, guess whose asset those properties are? Those are the bank's assets. They are not Graham's. Oh, well, the loan is in his name. Yeah, the loan, but the note is in the bank's name. They are giving him the privilege of managing or living in that property. That's why when the market crashed in 2008 with real estate, even people who had never missed a mortgage payment had their houses foreclosed on. You can be sure that's going to happen again because the index fund bubble is coming and all of those restrictions from 2008 are gone. That is worth repeating multiple times. Even if you've never missed a mortgage payment, when this crash happens this time, you can actually have your house foreclosed on. Go watch the movie The Big Short. The Big Short explains it in idiot's terms so that anybody can understand. This is a reality. This is coming. And the idea of giving away $1 million before actually generating revenue streams with it is just idiocracy. I mean, that's literally what it is. Every dollar you make should be treated as an employee who is supposed to go back out and make you $2 or $4 or $10. Every employee that comes in, every dollar that comes in, you should keep your spending so low, your liabilities so low, that your assets acquire an exponential growth curve. That's what you want. And then once you reach a certain point that it's self-winding and your money is so good at making its own money and you're so good at managing it and you're so good at finding other revenue streams, then maybe considering increasing your liabilities, your spending, how much you buy food, how much you spend for rent, or if you buy your own property, or maybe you buy a rental property with 4 units and live in one of them. Or maybe you start actually studying business and how things work. The biggest challenge with these videos is this mentality that you're not a good person if you don't give away. And that is a false premise, completely false premise. So now Graham is trying to keep up with Mr. Beast. Okay, I'm going to do a response on your video, but you know, your audience really loves the fact that you just give everything away, and so I feel culturally and societally pressured into giving away too. And so I'm going to give everything that this video makes in the first 30 days to planting more trees, because I want to appear to be just as generous, and I don't want to be shamed into actually being called greedy or being self-serving or actually trying to get paid for the value that I'm sharing. Graham, you're giving people excellent advice. Sometimes. This video is debatable. However, your intention is honest. You're actually trying, you're doing something about it. You're building your businesses, you're building your portfolio, you're sharing the information. I mean, my God, you're sharing your bank account information. There's nothing secret with you. It's so generous of you to give that away. Do not diminish your value for 1 second and think that you have to give away to be a good person. You have earned it. It's an exchange in abundance. You're giving more than you should. In fact, you're not getting paid enough as far as I'm concerned. You should make way more. Now, if you don't agree with that, then you need to stick by what you really are claiming you believe, right? Same thing with Mr. Beast. Let's talk about this for a second. Oh, Mr. Beast, he gives away everything. He gives away everything. Does he really? If he really believes that, to be a good person, you have to give it away. You have to give. Then let a homeless person move into your apartment or your home. Then give your car to a homeless person. Then give all of your clothes and all of the money in your bank accounts and your saving and your retirement to a low-income family. Maybe to a foster child. Give everything that you own away to a foster child or to an orphan to help them so that they get into college. Don't keep anything for yourself. In fact, you should give it all away and then slowly start to try and build again. And then as soon as you build again, give it away again. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite. You can't do both. You can't claim that people should give away to be a good person. Oh, but only just so much because you got to live. Do you? Do you really have? What do you need to live? You need to be a little bit of food and maybe shelter. You could live under a tree or under a bridge. A lot of people do it and they're pretty happy. A lot of people camp. People in Los Angeles put up tents all the time. Guess what? You can get a tent for free. In Los Angeles, you can get a tent for free. Come on down. We're giving away tents, cell phones, and computers to homeless people. Come here. Give all your stuff away. You really believe that attitude about giving makes you good? Then give it all away and stop being a hypocrite. Or actually fess up. Fess up that the truth is you need to make a place for yourself. You need to stand on your own 2 feet, and you need to find success for yourself and for your family. You need to work and build, and you need to protect that. And then if you feel so inclined, feel free to tithe once in a while and help people. Teach them, maybe volunteer your time. In fact, I would strongly encourage not to give money. And you want to know why? Because in the United States, the federal law only requires 10% of every dollar gathered for a charity actually go to helping whoever it is that they're claiming they're helping. So if you're claiming to help veterans, only 10 cents of a dollar goes to that veteran or to a veteran. 90 cents of every dollar goes to administrative costs, to salaries, to rent for offices, to promotional materials, and to grant writing. The fact of the matter is, most of the money goes into making more money. Only 10% goes into actually helping somebody. So then, Graham, I don't know what you're thinking, man, but then you make this statement about, oh, well, so you're going to see some ads, but it's okay because the money's going to go for 30 days to this charity. Listen, man, if you don't like your sponsors so much, then don't monetize your ads. Stop pretending that you're not a salesman. Why don't you own it? Own the fact that you're a salesman. Own the fact that you're proud that you do a great job and that you represent sponsors who actually offer quality products and quality services. You should be proud of the fact that these people want to advertise with you, because guess what? They're giving you a check. And that check goes in your bank account and feeds you. You need to be appreciative, thankful, and grateful for the fact that they appreciate you. How about reciprocating respect and stop pretending that advertising is so bad? Advertising is your best friend. Oh, and by the way, advertising is Mr. Beast's best friend too. And the fact that you both dismiss advertising as something that's to be ashamed of is absolutely hypocritical. You need to get down off that high horse or just don't monetize, because you could do it that way. You could just make the video and not monetize and just have that information out there. You really want to help people and give them that information and show them the right model, then do it all the way. Don't do it halfway. You can't have both. You've got to either give it all away or you've got to admit that you need to build for yourself and be selfish and take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself first, then you can't afford to take care of anybody else. You can't give from an empty cup. When a plane is going down and the oxygen comes down, there's a reason they tell you to put your mask on first. Because if you pass out, you can't help anybody else that put their mask on too. So you need to admit, the fact of the matter is, being an advertiser or being associated with advertisers is a good thing. Be thankful for that. Admit that you're in sales. You're trying to sell everybody on the idea that, oh, well, I don't like sales. Baloney. You make your living off of sales. You do it in real estate. You do it in your investing. All the companies you invest in, they sell, and you're selling on your YouTube channel. Stop crying like you don't like it. Every time you cash that check, you know darn well you like it. So as far as one way or the other, if you're gonna do it either way, all the way. If you don't really feel good about being somebody who takes money for advertising, then don't monetize. Graham starts talking about taxes. And he's absolutely right. What you're talking about is what's called capital gains or income taxes. See, actually, technically, income taxes were supposed to be not wage-based. It was on anything that you owned that was that generated income for you that you didn't actually perform a service for. Your labors, the fruits of your labors. Because, see, if you tax someone on the fruits of their labors, that's called slavery. And slavery is against the Constitution of the United States of America. So they called they did a semantics dance. They called it income tax. But actually what's being taxed, as we all know, are your wages. Now that's a whole different video. So what Graham starts talking about in this particular part of the video is how that if you win money, since you didn't do anything to win it, right? You didn't work, which isn't really true. Mark worked hard. He kept his hand on the money, right, for all that time. That was hard work, but they wouldn't call that work. They would call that winning it on a game show, and so they're going to tax it really hard. The mistaken notion, though, is that there's no way to protect that money after it's been taxed. It's going to be taxed, and it just happens. There's no way to protect your money from being taxed. That's not true. In fact, a very real example is Robert Kiyosaki, one of the most wealthy instructors on wealth in the world, pays 0 taxes every year thanks to his CPA, Tom Wheelwright. So if you really want to see the truth about making money and not paying taxes, listen to Robert Kiyosaki, listen to Tom Wheelwright, don't listen to Graham Stephan. He has the best of intentions, and I'm sure he has a big heart. He's working really hard trying to help as best he can, but the fact of the matter is he really doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to doing things tax-free. In fact, I've mentioned one of the ways, which is an incredible tool called a laser fund, tax advantage insurance contracts or tax advantaged insurance indexed contracts. They are indexed against the market. It's an insurance contract that is for life insurance, but you use it while you're alive, and you also, by the way, use it tax-free. Isn't that wonderful? Oh yeah, and by the way, it's one of the oldest IRS incentives known to the code, period. So the idea of there's no way to get around it, there's just can't avoid it, false premise. Now there are several times in this video that Graham says, hey, you know, you can't fault Mark for being such a generous guy and having such a warm heart. That is a false premise. That is the worst thing you can possibly do. I've already mentioned this, but anytime Graham says, you can't fault the guy, yes, you can. He's being an idiot. He's succumbing to bad model, Mr. Beast, society, cultural servitude, cultural slavery, guilt for having money, guilt for finding any kind of success, shame for wanting nice things, shame and guilt for wanting to build your life into something remarkable. How dare society or Graham or Mr. Beast place judgment on any other individual and how they should live their lives. The whole point of the United States is that you are free to pursue happiness the way you see fit, so long as it does not infringe on the rights of others. So if you want to make a mountain of money, be my guest, because guess what? There's a lot of money out there to be made. There's a lot of ideas that will make lots of money. And nowadays with the internet and with YouTube in particular, there's a whole bunch of ways to generate lots and lots of money. And so the more you do, congratulations to you. I'm going to cheer you on more. I will never ever judge you for wanting to find more in your life and build more in your life and find more success and happiness. Because guess what? When you make more money, more opportunity opens to you. You have more choices. You have more freedom and way more happiness. Even if you're not happy right away, you have the money to go find a way to become happy. The fact of the matter is, anyone who would decry that is just simply another person sitting around with their hand out. Oh, you shouldn't, how dare you have so much money? It's not fair. You should give it to me. You should, you know what? You should give it to that homeless person. This is a moral conversation, okay? You're talking about picking someone's pocket. You're talking about straight up thievery. And sometimes it's called legalized thievery because, oh, well, a community votes and they write up a law that says that we can take 10% or 20% or 30% of your money because you're a hard worker and you have lots of money and you don't deserve to keep all that. Well, what about you? Well, I didn't work as hard and I'm not interested in learning new skills and I'm not going to bother with that. I can't give up my beer and my football games and going out, having fun with my friends and sitting on the couch and sleeping in until noon and playing video games all day. Why should I have to give that up? They're so rich, they can afford to just give me some. In fact, you know what? The government should just give me a universal base income just because I exist. Listen, one of the harsh reality of life is life doesn't care and life doesn't owe you anything. Neither do I, and neither do anyone else. The fact of the matter is you are responsible for your own life, and until you take responsibility for your own life, you will always be a victim and you'll always find yourself asking for a handout and judging others. And guess what? Judge not, lest ye be judged. And that means all of you watching who think that I'm out of my mind or I'm too extreme. The fact of the matter is you just don't like hearing the truth. Now, as much as I respect Mr. Beast and his intention, even though he may be flawed in it, and as much as I respect Graham Stephan and his intention, even though he may be flawed in it, the fact of the matter is I could not sit by and watch these two videos and these two individuals perpetrate so much false premise. It is not true. You are not a good person because you give away. You're a good person just because of the way you act. If you treat people decently and you make mountains of money, you're still a good person. If you make mountains of money and never give it away to anybody and never help anybody, but at least you're a nice person when people meet you, you're still a good person. If you make incredible fortunes and never ever talk to a single human being in the whole world ever, never even share a conversation, you're still a good person as long as you don't hurt anybody. As long as you don't infringe on the rights of others and their ability to pursue their form of happiness, then fine. And you know what? Maybe this video, in my opinion, is actually infringing on other people's ability to be happy, being upset about people being so rich. See, that's one of the things you got to face too. When you start to find success and you start to do really well in your life, guess what? People love to complain about you. They love to target you. Look at that guy. He's such a jerk. How dare he accuse me of being whatever? I work hard and I can't get ahead and I can't get it right. Listen, there are instructional videos on YouTube on everything you could imagine in the entire universe. Everything you could imagine. The only thing stopping you from learning exactly what you need to do to improve your life is yourself. Because even the internet and access to YouTube is free in public libraries. And they are also filled with free books that will teach you exactly how to make more money or exactly how to build a happier life for yourself. So I don't believe for 1 second that anybody watching this video has the right to judge me or anybody else. Now, the only person I actually have any real empathy for is that fella Mark, because he has been told by Mr. Beast, and now he's been encouraged by Graham Stephan and all of both of their audiences that giving all that money away was a good idea. He's going away with the lesson that giving that away was the right thing to do. You did the right thing, Mark. Good on you. Little knock on the chin and tap on the shoulder, and then they walk away to their lives, right? And their forms of income, and their nice car, and their houses, and their bills that they can cover because maybe they work a nice job, or maybe they've got some streams of revenue. And they look at him and they say, "Good job, Mark." And then Mark turns around and faces this mountain of crap that he's picked up from all these purchases and all the responsibility that comes with it and all the bills and insurance and taxes that are going to be coming at him now and all the people who think he's rich now who are going to be asking to borrow money from him all the time. And he's got to deal with that. Talk about a real messed up mindset. He's got it completely backwards. No one has said to him, sit down. You need to be taught how money actually works before it's too late. Oh, well, you've got, no, what he's got instead is, oh, you're such a good person. You gave all that money away. Oh, and it's okay because you invested $50,000, so you'll be okay. Even if you put that maxed out in a 401k, you can live on $20,000 a year for the rest of your life, and your family will never have to worry. $20,000 a year? That's poverty level. That's poor level. $20,000 a year in the United States doesn't buy, it won't even pay the insurance on his cars and on his home and his utility bills. That won't even buy his groceries after he's done paying all that stuff. $20,000 a year is nothing in this country now because the US dollar has almost no value. Thanks to the banks, thanks to the wild, rampant empire building spending of the US government, thanks to all kinds of factors, including the stock market, including the crashes. Listen, the fact of the matter is, the guy that I have any empathy for is Mark, because he's been told the untruths. He's been told lies. He's been told by culture that what he did was the right thing, and it was not the right thing. What he needed to do was to take that money and find the smartest way to invest it and then let it work on its own for however many years, depending on the investment it took, to continue to live exactly the way he lived, to get by, and let that money grow until it just basically reaches critical mass and then keeps making money on money on its own. Nope, he'll never get that chance now because everybody said give it away. If he had let it grow to critical mass, then he could have taken a little bit off the top and said, you know what, this year I'm gonna give to my mom. And you know what, then let it grow some more, and then the next year I'm gonna give to my family for Christmas. I'm gonna buy everybody iPhones because I can afford that this year. And then the next year, you know what, it grew even a little bit bigger this year. I'm actually gonna buy my mom a nice car. And I don't need a car yet. I just wanna be able to keep growing my money. In fact, I'm getting really excited about the fact that this $1 million has turned into $1.5 million in just 2 or 3 years. This is really exciting. You know what? So I'm going to wait another 3 or 4 years before I even decide to look at a home. And then when I look at a home, I'm going to buy a smaller home. I'm going to split it in two. I'm going to rent one side. I'm going to live in the other. And I'm going to keep my mortgage super low by keeping the one side rented. And then I'll have even some equity. And then because I have 1.5 or more in savings and I have a property that's a rental on half side, I can use some of the equity of that to buy maybe another property and start following what Graham did. If I were to do that, that would make me feel even better because now I actually understand how money works. And I'm actually doing things that's helping my money to continue to grow so that each year I can buy another person who I love something nice. Something nice that I can actually easily afford. I mean, we're talking about that age-old rule. If you can't afford two, don't buy one. If you can't afford two of them, don't buy one. But remember, affording something is not just the retail price. It's also the maintenance of it, the service support of it. Once it deteriorates, replacing it. I mean, come on. A house, a car, those are super expensive items. It's like having a kid. You're talking about $1 to $2 to $5 million investment just to have a child nowadays, let alone all of those other accoutrements as well, and taking on the responsibility of all of your family members who now think that they can live off of you. So, Mark, wherever you are, man, you got a whole bunch of prayers and good energy coming to you. If you have questions, please write to me directly. I would absolutely love to be able to help you out. You were given a lie. You were told a false premise. You were taught the worst possible model. Maybe there's still time to turn it around. So as for everybody else, I hope that you got some kind of value out of this rant. And I understand it was very intense because I feel this very, very strongly. If you liked it, please thumbs up and subscribe. If not, I completely understand. Not everybody agrees with me. But the fact of the matter is, I have a whole of human history behind me to support me on this one. This is how money actually works. And it's unfortunate that Mr. Beast and Graham Stephan have yet to really learn that. Hopefully they'll see this video and maybe they'll start to do a little bit of homework. Thanks to everybody for listening. Hope to see you again real soon.